Everybody. This is the practice on equations with fractions. So number one says 3/5 of the animals on a family farm are pigs, and there are 12 pigs on the farm. So it gives us this equation, 3/5 A equals 12, and this will help us find the total number of animals on the farm. So what we want to do is, remember, let's follow our same steps to solve an equation. Equal sign, going to draw the line, again, to separate terms on the left side of the equation, such as the 3/5 A, from the term on the right side, which is positive 12. Now, next thing, we look at the operation we have here. So it says 3/5. Now we know a fraction is division. So whatever we see, we have to do the inverse operation, or the opposite. So we're going to multiply to undo the division, and instead of 3/5, to get rid of our fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to flip it upside down. So 5/3. Now remember, to balance an equation, whatever you do on one side of the equation, you must also do the same exact thing to the other. So we also must multiply the right side by 5/3. Now if you look here, you see that this positive 12 is a whole number, and we're trying to multiply a fraction. So what we should do is to also make that 12 a fraction. Remember, to make a whole number a fraction, just put it over 1. 1 is your denominator, since it does not change the value, right? 12 divided by 1 is still 12. That's why the 1 goes there. All right, so now we have the problem set up, and now it's time to solve. So remember, in the previous lesson, I mentioned that you didn't have to multiply the numerators. 5 times 3, you get 15. Denominators, 3 times 5 is 15. 15 divided by itself is 1. So again, you don't have to do all of that once you understand again the reason why we multiply the fraction by its reciprocal is to get 1. So to get that variable by itself. So again, from the last lesson, and what I'll do from here forward is just cross cancel, which we also spoke about. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. That's 1 as well. And 3 divided by 3 is still 1. That's 1. So it accomplishes the same thing. So in other words, we have A by itself, bring it down. Equal sign, bring it down. Now we multiply our numerators. We also could cross cancel on the right side, but not sure how comfortable you all are with that. So I'll just multiply the numerators. Is 60, and denominators 1 times 3 is 3, and we simplify this. A is equal to 60 divided by 3 would give us 20. So our answer is B, 20 animals. All right, let's go for number 2. So number 2, Victoria and Mickey carry their canoe 40 rods, and it's giving us this equation, 40 equals 2/11D, to find the distance in yards that they carried the canoe. All right, same first step. Equal sign, draw the line. So we separate what's on the left side of the equation, which is the positive 40, and the right side, which is 2/11D. Next, what operation do we see? Again, we see a fraction, which is division, 2/1. So since I see division on the right side, I have to get rid of my fraction by multiplying, which is the inverse operation of dividing, inverse opposite. And instead of 2/11, I'm just going to take all of that fraction, meaning upside down. 11 is the numerator now, and 2 is my denominator. So remember, whatever you do on one side of the equation, you must also do to the other side. So is a whole number. I want to make that a fraction. Let's just put it over 1. All right, so now I set up my problem. Now it's time to solve. multiply my numerators, 11 times 40. Again, you can work it out. Or if you have a calculator, feel free to use it, but 11 times 40 will give us 440. Denominators, 2 times 1 is 2. Let's bring down our equal sign. Now, on the right side of the equation, remember when we multiply by the reciprocal with the fraction, it's going to cancel everything out, leaving us with our variable by itself. So we could just simply cross cancel. 2 divided by 2 is 1. That's 1. And again, 11 divided by itself. 11 is also 1. So that frees up our variable, d. So we just bring that down. Last step, we simplify and divide 440 by 2, which would give us 220 equals d. So this is actually choice D. So 220 yards is our answer. Okay, heading into number 3. So number 3, I have another word problem. Danny ran 3 kilometers in a relay race, and it gives us the equation 3 over 10d equals 3. And when we solve this, we're going to find the total distance, which is the letter D, of the race in kilometers. So again, same first step, equal sign, draw our line. To separate the term on the left side, 3 over 10d, from the term on the right side, positive 3. Okay, so again, same step. Remember, we're just going to be consistent and follow through on what we did before. So what operation do we see? Well, we see the fraction 3 over 10, or 3 divided by 10. So we're looking at division. So we undo division with its inverse or opposite operation of multiplying. And again, to get rid of a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. So instead of 3 over 10, we multiply by 10 over 3. Okay? Whatever we do on the left, we balance it by also doing the same exact thing to the right side. So we also multiply that by 10 over 3 as well. The positive 3, we see it's a whole number. Let's also make that a fraction, so put it over 1. Now our problem is set up, and we're ready to solve. So left side, remember from the other questions, multiplying a fraction by its reciprocal will cancel everything and give me 1, leaving me with my variable d by itself. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. Remember, any number divided by itself is always 1. So same concept here. If I cross cancel these, 3 divided by 3 is also 1 and 1. So left side is finished. Let's bring down our d, bring down our equal sign. Now time to multiply our numerators. 3 times 10 is 30. Multiply denominators. 1 times 3 is 3. And simplify this. So bring down our d, bring down our equals. 30 divided by 3 is 10. So we're going to get 10 kilometers, which is choice A. All right, halfway done. Time for number 4. So number 4, Sandy took home 2/5 of the pizza that was left over from a party. And it gives us this equation, 2/5 p equals 1/2. So we have to solve this equation to figure out the total number of pizzas that were left over from the party. Okay, so same first step, equal signs, draw a line. Again, to separate the term on the left side, which is the 2/5 p, from the term on the right side, which is 1/2. Next, let's look for the operation we see. So it says 2 over 5, or 2 divided by 5. So we're looking at division. So we undo division using inverse operation. Opposite of dividing is multiplying. And again, to get rid of a fraction, we multiply by its reciprocal. So instead of 2 over 5, we multiply by 5 over 2. Okay. Whatever we do on one side of the equation, we must do the same exact thing to the other side to keep it balanced. So also multiply that by the same 5 over 2. Now left side, we know that if we cross cancel, 5 divided by 5 is 1. So that's 1 there and 1 here. Same thing, 2 divided by 2, also 1. 1 there, 1 here. Let's bring down our letter P, our variable, bring down our equal sign. Now we multiply our numerators. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 2, our denominators. 2 times 2 is 4. And now we simplify. So remember, we can't leave our answer in this form. This is what we call an improper fraction, when the bigger number, the numerator, is on top, and the smaller number is in the denominator, in this case 5 over 4. So to simplify this, remember we just divide to make it a mixed number. So let's just do it off to the side. 4 into 5. 4 can go into 5 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. So we have a 1 here. And remember the little trick that we learned before on how to write our mixed number. So this 1 at the top is our whole number. The 1 at the bottom is our numerator. If we follow the circle, the 4 on the outside is our denominator. So answer is P equals 1 and 1/4, which is choice D. Okay, time for number 5. So number 5 says Queens received 3/4 inches of rain on March 25th. This represents 3/10 of the total amount of rain that Queens received in March. So it gives us this equation to solve. 3 over 10 R equals 3/4 to figure out the amount of rain in inches that Queens received in March. So same first step, equal sign, let's draw a line. Again, to separate the term on the left side of the equation, which is a 3/10 R, from the term on the right side, which is 3/4. Next, what operation do we see? We see division. It says 3 over 10, or 3 divided by 10. So we're looking at division. We must undo it, get rid of it by using inverse or opposite operation. So we multiply. And remember, to get rid of a fraction, we multiply by its reciprocal. So instead of 3 over 10, it's 10 over 3. Now, whatever we do on one side of the equation, we must do the same to the other to keep it balanced. So we also multiply by 10 over 3 here, right side. Left side, we know that multiplying a fraction by its reciprocal will cancel everything, leaving 1. So again, 10 divided by itself is 1 and 1. Same concept, 3 divided by itself is 1 and 1 there. So we've isolated our variable. That means it's by itself on that side. So we bring down the R, bring down our equal sign. Now we multiply on the right side our numerators. 3 times 10 is 30 over. And now denominators, 4 times 3 is 12. And just like in number 4, we have another improper fraction where the bigger number is on top in the numerator. So it says 30 over 12. Can't leave it like that. So we have to convert it back into a mixed number. Again, different ways to do it. You can divide the 30 by 12 and get a decimal, or you can just take the 30 over 12 and simplify the fraction, divide by the GCF. But even if you divide by the GCF, you're still only going to get down to another improper fraction. All right, if you divide by 6 on top and bottom, you're going to get 5 over 2. So we can just divide as we did in the other question. I'll show you both ways in a second, but if you do 30 divided by 12, remember the bottom number, so I draw the arrow. Bottom goes into the top, so 30 divided by 12. 12 can go into 32 times. 2 times 12 is 24. And I have 6 left over here. So same thing as in number 4. Here's my whole number, 2. Down there is my numerator, 6. here is my denominator 12. So I can say r equals 2n 6 over 12, but again, 6 over 12, I can simplify that. So there are different numbers that go into both 6 and 12. And remember, we learned GCF, the greatest common factor. So in other words, the largest number I could divide 6 and 12 by would be 6. So I'll just do that part off to the side. So we divide both the numerator and denominator by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So my final answer here is going to be, remember, you keep this whole number here, this 2. So 2, and then your 1/2. So 2 and 1/2. That means 2 and 1/2 inches of rain fell in March. Now, some of you may have perhaps used the calculator and divided also. So you can also say 2 and 1/2 is equal to 2.5. So you can put that as well. That's also correct. And just to go back to what I was saying before, I'll just do it off to the side here, and then I'll erase it when I'm done, just to show you the other way. So we could have taken this 30 over 12, and if you didn't want to do this step over here, what you could have done is just same thing we did actually down here, divide by the GCF, greatest common factor. So the biggest number that goes into 30 and 12 is still 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 12 divided by 6 is 2, but you're going to notice it's still an improper fraction since the bigger number 5 is still on top of the smaller number 2. So either way, you're still going to have to divide the 2 into 5. 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. And you'll get the same answer that we got over here of 2.5. 2 and 1 over 2. So it's going to be the same thing. But again, it's math. There are different ways to find the same answer. Just use whichever way is most comfortable for you. Okay, so with that said, I'm just going to erase this part. And we can look at final question, number 6. All right, so number 6 says Gary drove 36 miles in 4/5 hours. So it gave us this equation to solve to figure out his average rate of speed in miles per hour. So again, what do? First, equal sign, draw the line. Next, what do we see? We see division. It says 4 over 5, or 4 divided by 5. So I undo division by using inverse operation, which is the opposite of division, is multiplying. And again, to get rid of our fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. So I flip it upside down. Instead of 4 over 5, it becomes 5 over 4. And I balance the equation by doing the same thing that I just did to the right side. I have to do it to the left side also. So multiply that by the same 5 over 4. The 36 is a whole number. Make it a fraction. Put it over 1. Now we have our problem set up. And now what we do is multiply our numerators. Again, we can cross cancel if you're comfortable doing it that way. But for this one, I'll just multiply the numerators. 5 times 36. Again, you can work it out, or you can use calculator, either one. But 5 times 36 will give us 180 over. Denominators, 4 times 1 is 4. Bring down our equal sign. Now on the right side, remember, the 4's will cancel. 4 divided by itself is 1 and 1. Same thing with the 5's. They cancel. 5 divided by 5 is 1 and 1. So we have our variable r. Let's bring it down. And just divide 180 divided by 4. Again, work it out or use calculator. Will give us 45. So answer 45 equals r. So Gary's average rate of speed was 45 miles per hour. All right, thank you so much for watching this one. Make sure you pause, rewind. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a nice day.